Thanks. Hi, Mikel. Good
Hi.
to see you. First of all, as we come to the end of this season, and just looking back to the end of last season when you finished with an FA Cup and everything looked very positive, would you say that in terms of the vision you have for this club and what you want to build, you're further along the line in terms of progress, or would you say that this year has perhaps been a difficult step back almost?
Well, if you're saying a step back because we haven't won a title, then it has to be related. In the league, we have 2 more points than last season, but it's nowhere near what we want to be. The fact that we haven't have a title so close to grab because we are not in the Europa League final makes it really difficult to see more positives. But we were knocked out in the last 16 in the Europa League last season. And there is a lot of things that have been done that they were very necessary in this season that are not related to results. But at the end of the day, we are here to win.
I know it's not been the easiest for you having to talk about things like takeovers or something. If I can just ask you one question, because Daniel Leck has talked about his bid being rejected. Are you hopeful now that a bid's being rejected now, that this issue can just now be parked and you can just focus and the club can just focus on what it needs to do in terms of progress now?
I really hope so, because I think it's been very clear where the owners are standing. I think I've been clear to give my view on the situation, and just for the benefit of the club, which I think is the only interest that everybody that supports really the club should be aiming, is to get the unity and the togetherness that we need to be back where we want. That's all.
And you talked about, obviously now you think about what the plans are going forward for the future, and players will leave and so on like that. Can I ask you about Joe Willock, who's been fantastic in his loan spell? Is he part of those long-term plans that you have, and do you see him coming back and playing a part at the club next season?
Yes, and I'm really happy that things have gone so well for him because of the potential that Jot had. I think it was great for him to go away and have a different experience. He has grabbed that opportunity in a really positive and remarkable way, and he will be back with us. We'll have those conversations with him and plan the next few years for him.
And of course, this game, the final game of the season, you're going to have fans back in. It's been a difficult year for them, frustrating year for them. What sort of response or what sort of atmosphere are you expecting at the Emirates for this last game of the season?
That they haven't been at the stadium for a long time. We haven't been able to be together, so hopefully a really positive atmosphere, trying to support the team and the team trying to give them some joy and win the game.
In terms of bringing them some sort of joy, it's not a title or anything, but how much do you think they will be determined for Arsenal to get the win and potentially finish above Tottenham this season? Just give them that small bit of pleasure, something to shout about in North London.
Anything that is in our hands to make them happy and to help us to be in a better place than we are today, it's all positive.
Thanks a lot, Mikel.
Thank you.
George, BBC.
Thanks, Mark. Mikel, hello. I know the table's over 38 games, but have you seen the last 23 matches of your league form and where that puts you in the league? You would be second.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you make of that? Because that is, considering your first start of the season, that's quite good, isn't it?
Yes, it is very good, but as you said, the league is played in 38 games. But at least it shows that we are able to do it, and we get a little bit more normal context, more normal situations. I'm very positive about what we can do, but at the end of the day, we are judge of what we've done in the whole season, and it's not for sure where we want to be.
Can you work out, when you look back at this season, I know I mentioned that, but it really was that period in November that really has cost you, hasn't it? Considering how well you've done over the last 23 games.
Yes, it's a lot of things from September to December that are contributing to that. I don't just believe in it's just an issue. There were a lot of things in that period.
Will them issues be back again next season, or are they eliminated for good? You sound like you know what the issue was back then.
Well, this is my job. to identify, to be very critical with myself first, and then try to analyze and find the why things happened, whether it's negative or positive. So if it's positive, let's keep doing a lot of the good things that we are doing.
Joe Willett, so just to confirm, he's definitely going to be an Arsenal player next season. He won't be going out on loan.
Well, for sure, because he's got a contract and he's going to be here. So that's for sure.
He's put a few extra pounds on these, with all his goals, he's put a few extra pounds on his transfer fee, possibly.
And he got the responsibility and the task to go to Newcastle to help them go where they want. And I'm telling you, because I spoke with the coaching staff, they're extremely happy because he was a key part of contributing to get the objective that they had. So that's a real positive for him.
Hector Bellerin, I know he's injured, but what will Sunday be? Is that going to be his last appearance at the Emirates, possibly, or do you hope he stays?
Hector is not fit, so he won't be playing the last game. And like everybody that has a contract, George, he remains here.
Okay, and just sorry, I know he's not your player, but it's going to be Sergio Aguero's last game on Sunday. Can you just give us an appreciation of how good he was from your time at Man City, please?
And absolutely joy to work with him. His character, his personality, is a lovable man, and then one of the best talents that I've seen. What he's done in this league for so long, and scoring the amount of goals that he's done, I think he was a player that contributed to change the perception of English football in different countries. And one for Manchester City. I think he was a big contributor of changing the history, the mentality, and the winning years that they had after that.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your questions this season. Thank you.
Ian, Talksport.
Hi Mikel, last one of the season. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
What do you think of the Europa Conference League or the UEFA Conference League? Because if you do finish above Spurs, you could finish 7th, and you could be in that tournament next season. I know it's not the Champions League or the Europa League. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it's a new competition, so I don't know really well what it would happen. First of all, let's try to finish as high as possible, and after we will determine if we are involved, what's the best way to do it.
In some ways, it's been looked down upon by people. I mean, do we need a third European competition, for example?
Well, we have experienced in the last few years as well how tough being in the Europa League is, with the amount of games that you play and the short turnaround that you have all the time in the Premier League. I think there is a lot of history there with teams that have been involved in Europa League. The negative consequences that has in the Premier League positions. But we tried to give it the best possible go. We came a little bit short, and but this club has to be in Europe.
How difficult is your team selection on Sunday? Because from the outside, people are saying, well, are Arsenal going to build a team for the future around the likes of Kieran Tierney, Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe? And on the other hand, there are a few good buys that might need to be sent to players like David Luiz, possibly Willian, as you said there, maybe Hector Bellerin. Who knows? I mean. So how difficult is Sunday's team selection for you?
Team selection is just the best possible selection to win the game, and what is going to happen afterwards, it's part of the future, and what we have to try to control is what happens on the day.
Do you have a lot of difficult conversations coming up? I mean, I'm thinking of players like Edin Ketir, who is going to want to play more football next season. He has this. I don't know whether you want to keep him or not. I'm not going to ask you that, but with players like that, do you have difficult conversations in the next few weeks?
Well, we have a lot of conversations that already happened, and some more that have to happen. Difficult or not, we have to face them, and we have to be able to tell each other what our feelings are, and then try to make the right decisions.
Fans will ask whether finishing 7th, 8th or 9th, whether that is good enough for a team as big as Arsenal. What would your response be?
No.
So, whatever it is, it's a season of underachievement, yeah?
It's not where we want to be, Ian.
Okay. And finally, you've spoken before about how important your family are to you. You're going to the last game of the season. I guess that after that, there's a chance for you to repay them a bit, Mikel, with a bit of family time. Are you actually going to be able to get away this summer, or with the Euros on, the family and the dog going to be put in one room, and you're going to be watching Spain and England in the other room?
No, you have to find a balance. There is a lot of work to do, reflection to do, a lot of decisions to be made, and it would take time to do that. But at the same time as well, you have to disconnect. It's been almost 2 years with no break, and they deserve some time with us. And I think our bodies and mind as well, they need a rest to be more efficient and have more clarity in our vision.
I must ask, which flag is in the Mikel Arteta house? The Spanish one or the English one?
Sorry?
Which flag for the Euros will you fly in the Arteta house, the English one or the Spanish?
I would have both, and as well, obviously supporting as well a lot of the players that we have here. They will be representing the country, and we want the best for them.
Thanks for being a great sport all season.
Okay, thanks, Ian.
Thanks, guys. Right, we go on to the section for 10:30 Friday night. Come to Nick at the Guardian.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi, Nick.
A few for me, maybe looking back over the season, if that's okay. Firstly, I guess, how would you describe this season in one word or phrase, if you could?
Extraordinarily challenging, but incredibly stimulating, and I would say 3 dots, and then big opportunity coming up.
Sure. You've spoken before about how maybe the external perception of what has happened this season is different to what you see from the inside, of course, every day. How do you think the season that Arsenal have had should be perceived externally?
Well, externally, I think every supporter should be aiming for us to be lifting trophies, and when that's not the case, because that's the dream, they're not going to be happy and they will be disappointed. But I think they know what has been going on, and it's not today, it's not yesterday, it's not from last year. So we know where we are, we know where we were, but that's the past, and where we can be, that's the future, and I will be focusing in there.
We've all learned a lot about ourselves over the last year and that kind of thing, but what have you learned the most about yourself this season?
That there are a lot of things that you cannot control, that I am extremely proud to work with the people that I have next to me, that this club is even bigger than I thought and even better than I thought, and that I am prepared to do anything that it takes to give the club the most success, joy, and a feeling of pertinence and a feeling of being proud of what we are trying to do. And I won't stop till I do that.
And what's been the best thing about this season for you? And then on the other side of it, what's been maybe the most frustrating thing?
The best thing has been to keep a team, staff, employees, and everybody together in those circumstances when you are not winning, and when there is so many people, some inside, some outside, that are trying to hurt, and to keep them together and block that and be so strong. I think that's some achievement, because normally when that happens, that cracks and then everything falls, and it didn't.
Are the people inside who were trying to hurt it still there?
No.
No. And if I was one of your players and you were maybe talking to me and trying to persuade me why Arsenal is the place to be next season, why I should be looking forward to playing for Arsenal next season, what would you say?
I need an hour to do that, but I think I could convince them, and we have been able to convince them to come here instead of somewhere else. So I think just looking at this batch, the history and who we are, I think that should be enough. But if they need something else, we are prepared to do so.
Sure. Thanks, Mikel.
Thanks to you.
Paul at the Star.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
I wanted to know how important is it to you personally that you get all your transfer business and contract stuff done early this summer? And do you think that will be possible with the Euros looming? Has a budget been set? All these issues. How important is it that it's done early for you?
That would be ideal to do it everything as early as possible. Have all the players that that we know they're going to continue here the first day of pre-season, but it's not going to happen. We have the Euros and everything is going to be delayed. There are that many things to be done that it will take time. But we know how key it can be, and what we don't want is to happen the situation that we had last year.
From the way you were talking just now about you're prepared to do anything it takes and you won't stop until you've done that, you sound very determined. Does this season, how has this season changed you as a person? Are you grumpier? Are you just more determined? Is there more fight in you? How's it changed
No,
you?
I am very competitive, but no, I just try to be facing the challenge that it comes, and not hiding from it. And I know how big the task is. I know how big and how good the level is in this league, and still what the expectations are with us. And we have to manage that, and to manage that probably is the hardest thing. But as well, it shows you that with the right determination, with the right decisions, the potential that we have, it's huge. And then the biggest question mark is the time frame. How long it does take you to get what you want to do.
That was going to be part of my next question, because I remember when you signed Willian, he famously said that you were aiming to win the Champions League in 3 years, and that's one of the reasons why he signed the length of contracts that he did. I just wondered, do you regret saying that now, and what needs to change for that ambition to become a reality?
No, it cannot be any other ambition at this football club. It cannot be. And if you don't have that, we won't reach it. There's only one winner in the Champions League, and there's only one winner in the Premier League. The rest of the team have failed, because for any of the other teams finishing second or third is not a big achievement. Now, the perception is different. Now it's an achievement to be third or fourth in this league. Well, would the fans agree with that? Probably no. But the people internally that are working every day and knows the standards they have been set is so different. Last year, with 61, 62 points, you were fifth in the league, almost in Champions League. This season, you won't be there. And next season, you won't be there, because the level is increasing all the time.
Do you think with the changes that will be coming this summer in terms of players leaving and players coming into the club, that your squad will look so different next season, that those ambitions start to become more of a reality?
I can control what we can do. I cannot control what the other teams are going to do or where they're going to take the level again. But we have to focus on what we can do to get a better squad, play better, compete better, and obviously finish better than we've done this season.
Could I just ask as well, there were some incidents this week, some Spurs fans were fighting with stewards during their game. And do you have any fears that something similar might happen at the Emirates after the protest that happened the other day?
I don't know. I never seen an incident with an Arsenal fan, and I really hope that none of that happens, because it's never happened here.